This video is brought to you by the following sponsors. Consider checking them out for all your sim racing needs.
Oh, hey, there it is. Okay, all right, awesome. Okay, so today, pardon the very weird setup, I got myself a cam link for streaming. Somewhere in the middle of this screen here will be where you should go. A viewer actually made a fantastic suggestion to me in an Instagram DM. He says, he asked me this: what was the difference between the iRacing IR-01 versus the F1 2022 car? That got me thinking about maybe I should do a little comparison, considering both are not actually real. If you don't know a lot about the iRacing's Dallara IR-01, that was a fictional car that they made strictly to be in the virtual universe of iRacing, and the 2022 Formula One car is last I checked, it's 3/20/21, so I don't even know if they're in production yet, but they both look quite similar. Now there's going to be, like, I guess 2 photos or something up on this screen here, and actually maybe I should look as well, because I think that the cars look very similar, and I'm surprised that Formula One didn't say anything about it. If we look here, yeah, they look ooh, they look very similar, actually. All right, I'm trying, let me bring up like a base model. I'll put the IR on the left, and we'll put the 2022 F1 car on the right. If that ain't plagiarism, I don't know what is. Look at that. Look at how similar these cars look. Holy crap. Just from looking here, I feel like the IR-01 is like concept art, and the F1 2020 is the real life version of the car. Wow, these are very similar. So I think this is going to be a very fun review here. Just a few things before I start. The model that I'm using, how I'm actually getting the 2022 version of this car, is from a website called Race Sim Studios, and I don't think it's over like $10, right? I paid euros, so like maybe 8 euros, I don't know. And the iRacing one is about $11. So if you want to try those out for yourself, you're going to need a subscription with iRacing, and you're also going to need to buy the Assetto Corsa game to actually use the F1 car. So let's hop in. I pray to God this audio works, or else I'm just talking to nothing. Here's what I'm gonna do. So the main issue with this car, or actually the main issue with actually both look like they would have DRS, and only the 2022 F1 car does. The track that we're going to be racing on is Watkins Glen. I will be using DRS on the straights, so I guess I should list them now. There's going to be the start finish line, DRS is going to be enabled. The back straight well, actually I guess it would be the first straight is another one, and then there's a third one somewhere in the middle of this track. All right, time to hurt my arms. I have this weird straight line thing going on with the wheel. It's not me shaking it back and forth, it is the game. If any of you know how to fix this, please save me, because I don't know how to do it. So one of the special things about the brand new F1 car for 2020 is that it has ground effect. Not as severe as when it was first brought into the series, but ground effect is ground effect. Well, we're still keeping the regular hybrid system, DRS, and then the KERS deployment. So this is the first DRS zone, and as you can see, my wheel is wobbling here. But I mean, so far, I can do the same things with this car. That I can with the other one. All the braking points are exactly the same. Second DRS zone. And I kind of overbroke that. And this was a section here that's normally a ton of bumps, and you're going to see that in a little bit in the iRacing version of this track. But
right here is something that I can do in iRacing. I can usually flat foot that whole thing. Can't do it in this car, which is kind of weird because I would expect with ground effect I'd be able to do it. This car is slower than the iRacing one. And it has less downforce. I believe it has less downforce than the current Formula 1 car as well. Because they want to get the focus away from a butt ton of aerodynamics and they want to make the car more raceable. But all in all, this car is very solid. Obviously, this is a simulated version of it, so it has no real bearing over what the real life one looks like. But if it feels anything like this, then I think that's pretty good. And I'm definitely not pushing it as much as I should. So I'm still having to brake. Oop, we're about to lose it. Awesome, nice save. The whole problem with a comparison like this is just, obviously simulators can use very similar effects, but tire models are what really kind of decide the differences between these. The car feels, and I forgot to turn on DRS, the car feels very good. It's very forgiving. Obviously with a bumpy track like this in real life, when you have a ground effect on a car, because you're essentially creating a vacuum underneath it, and as soon as you release that vacuum, there goes all of your ground effect. It's over, you're done. So to be honest, this version of Watkins Glen is very good for this car because it lacks the bumps in it that iRacing has in their version of this track. But it's honestly, it's remarkable about how similar these cars are. But my times are seconds slower on the F1 car than on the IR-01 for sure. Yeah, I can't really say much about this car considering I've already driven, I've pretty much already driven it in iRacing. It's the same car. It really is the same car.
So as said during the driving of this car, it's very, very similar in appearance and in drivability to the IR-01. We're about to go and test that now so you can actually see exactly what I mean.
Alright, tires are warmed up. Let's get on to the review if I don't crash this thing. So, one huge difference already. No DRS. I can't deploy anything, but for some reason this thing is faster. I do not know how or why. But also, I only have 7 gears. I believe this car has more horsepower though. I think it's like 1,000 horsepower or something. So, very torquey. I think it's a V10. I don't know, whatever the specs say on it. Yeah, one of the big differences here is the torquiness of this car. You can spin the tires in 5th if you try, which is why I have to be a lot more careful with this. And right here is where those, yeah, and that back end is very squirrely. Right here is where those bumps I was talking about are. And I think even with this, yeah, I can pretty much straight line that, no problem. Ah, shit. Oh, thank God. But again, these cars are insanely similar. And again, I'm very surprised. Yeah, I'm just having a hard time trying to do this and talk. But I'm very surprised Race Sim Studios and the people at Dallara were able to get away with the cars looking so similar. Yeah, this is going to be several seconds slower than normal, but even my last lap time is almost as good as my best one on that F1 2020 car. But I'll tell you right now, with iRacing and their tire model, I'm already having to really sort of be careful with this, especially on this baseline setup here. This isn't made for this track, but neither was the F1 2020 either. But again, I'm using dang near the same racing line, the same braking points. Oh yeah, this setup is very not very good for this. So I'm pretty much just gonna shut up and focus, and then we'll put these two. We'll do one lap where you guys can just see how it looks, and then we'll do like a little head-to-head, so you can see how similar this racing line is, and some braking points, all that fun stuff. But I kind of need to not talk whenever I'm playing iRacing in order to kind of do that effectively. Oh boy. Okay, so after driving both, I definitely have to say that and this may be based on the sim that it's in. I'm pretty sure it's based on the sim that it's in. But the F1 2022 is a lot easier to drive, and honestly with that DRS I like it a lot more. It does allow for the chance of passing. If I had to choose, let's just use iRacing just because it's the most popular of the two simulators. If we had both in iRacing, which one would you choose? That's something you should actually, I kind of want to poll, so just leave which one you choose in the comment section below. But if I had to choose, I think that I would actually choose the F1 2022 car. A few reasons. One being DRS, another being 8 gears it's in it. To be honest, you guys are gonna hate me for this, but I actually do like the sound of the 2022 car better. A lot of people harp on the hybrid sound, but I like it a lot. It sounds like a fighter jet, and I know a lot of you guys' opinion has changed about me, but you'll get over it. You'll get over it as you watch more of my videos. But just besides, what car I would choose, you can clearly see that these cars, they look the same. They pretty much handle the same. The only big difference being the torque in the IR-01 it feels a lot stronger than in the 2022 F1 car. That's for sure. I can spin those tires in 6th gear if I try. This isn't even just because it's on Watkins Glen, it is the car itself. I've raced it on other tracks as well. The same thing. That torque is instant, which is weird because it's naturally aspirated. There's no hybrid systems on that car at all, and you'd expect with a hybrid system on the F1 car that would be the case, but it's not, which is kind of funny. Anyways, I hope this was informative, and I hope this sort of decide whether or not you want to pick up the RSS F1 2020 or the IR-01. Okay, bye. There's nothing outside, it's just black, and they were vacuuming. Can you believe that?